For 30 years, you did exactly what they told you. You put money into your 401k every single paycheck, and you didn't touch it. And it worked. That account grew into the biggest pile of money you've ever had. Your whole retirement is sitting in it. But then you retire, and on that very first Monday with no job to go to, a quiet, terrifying question shows up. Now what? 'Cause here's the thing nobody tells you. The day you retire, the rules for your 401k completely change. For 30 years, the goal was simple. Grow it. Now, the goal is the hardest thing in all of personal finance. Make it last, and don't let anyone take a piece of it. And there are people lined up to take a piece. The IRS wants its share. Your old plan wants its fees. And one wrong move can cost you tens of thousands. I've watched it happen for 30 years. A good, careful person retires with a healthy 401k, makes 2 or 3 avoidable mistakes, and quietly loses a fortune. Not to a crash, not to a scam, just to not knowing the 5 decisions that come after you retire. I'm Earl, and today I'm going to walk you through exactly what to do with your 401k once the paychecks stop, step by step. The 5 decisions, in plain English. And look, decision 4 is the one the IRS is quietly counting on you to get wrong. We're going to get to that. If you've got a 401k and you're close to retirement, this is the most important 15 minutes you're going to spend on your money all year. So, do me one quick favor first. Tap that subscribe button. I break down real retirement money like this every week. In plain language, no jargon. Okay, let's get into it. Let me introduce you to someone. Call her Valerie. She's 64, just retired after a long career, with $540,000 in her 401k. Valerie did everything right for 30 years, but right now, she's frozen. 'Cause she has no idea what she's supposed to actually do with that cash now. Should she leave it where it is? Move it? Start pulling from it? Every option feels like it might be the wrong one, and she's terrified of making a mistake. That fear is exactly right, 'cause this is the exact moment that decides whether her money lasts 30 years or runs bone dry in 15. So Valerie's going to sit down with me, and we're going to walk through the 5 decisions together. The same 5 you're facing. By the end, you're going to know exactly what to do with your own 401k. No guessing, no fear. Let's start with Decision 1. Decision 1. Should you just leave your 401k right where it is, with your old employer? Most people do this by default. And look, sometimes it's fine. But a lot of times, it ain't. Here's the thing about leaving it. When you retire, that 401k don't belong to a company that's looking out for you anymore. You're just an old account they're holding on to. And that comes with 3 silent killers. First, limited choices. A typical 401k gives you maybe 15 or 20 mutual funds, and that's it. That's all you get. Second is the fees. A lot of older 401k plans carry admin fees and fund costs you don't even notice, but they quietly eat away at your balance year after year. Even a tiny 1% fee on a $500,000 account is $5,000 a year. Gone. Just for leaving it parked right where it sits. And third is control. Some plans make it a massive headache to take flexible withdrawals once you're retired. You want to turn it into monthly income, but they want to keep you in a box. Some plans will even kick you out entirely once you retire, forcing you to move the cash whether you're ready or not. So when does it actually make sense to leave it? If your old plan has rock-bottom fees, great low-cost index funds, and you like keeping it simple, leaving it is perfectly fine. There's also one special rule you gotta know. If you left your job in the year you turned 55 or later, you can take cash from that specific 401k without any early withdrawal penalty. That's a massive advantage an IRA won't give you before 59 and a half. So for some early retirees, leaving it alone is actually the smartest move. Valerie checks her old plan. The fees are higher than she realized, and the fund choices are thin. For her, leaving it there ain't the best option. But she had to look to know that. And that's the big lesson of Decision 1. Don't just leave your 401k where it is out of habit. Leave it there only on purpose. Pull up your plan. Find the fee disclosure. You know, the part they bury on page 30. Look at the expense ratios on your funds. Ask yourself one question. Is this still the best home for my cash? If the answer's yes, great. Leave it and simplify your life. If the answer's no, then you gotta look at Decision 2. 'Cause for a lot of retirees, the best home for that money ain't the old 401k at all. It's something with way more freedom and lower costs. And that brings us to the move that millions of retirees make. The one you gotta get exactly right. 'Cause one small slip hands the IRS 20% of your cash instantly. Decision 2 is the rollover. And done right, it's one of the best moves you can make. Done wrong, it's going to be one of the most expensive mistakes of your life. So, let's make sure you're on the right side of that line. Here's the deal. A rollover just means moving your cash out of the old 401k and into an IRA, an individual retirement account that you control. Why would you want to do that? 3 big reasons, and they're the mirror image of the problems we just talked about. First, freedom. Inside an IRA, you ain't stuck with 15 funds. You can choose from almost the entire market. Low-cost index funds, bonds, dividend payers, whatever fits your plan. Second, lower cost. A good IRA at a major low-cost provider can slash the fees you were paying inside the old 401k, sometimes dramatically. That's cash staying in your pocket. Third, simplicity. If you've got 2 or 3 old 401ks from different jobs, a rollover lets you bring them all under one roof so you can actually manage them. So the rollover sounds great. And it is. But here's the trap. And I need you to listen to this part clearly, because it catches good people every single year. There's 2 ways to do a rollover. One's safe, one's a landmine. They sound almost the same, and that's exactly why folks get hurt. The safe way's called a direct rollover. The money goes straight from your old 401k to your new IRA, trustee to trustee. You never touch it. This is the way you want to go. The dangerous way's called an indirect rollover. The plan sends a check to you, and then you've got 60 days to deposit it into the IRA yourself. Sounds harmless, right? It ain't. 'Cause the moment they send that check to you, the law forces them to withhold 20% for taxes. Right off the top. So Valerie's $540,000? In an indirect rollover, she'd get a check for around $430,000. The IRS holds back over $100,000. And here's the cruel part. To complete the rollover and avoid taxes, she has to deposit the full amount, including that missing 20%, from her own pocket, within 60 days. If she can't replace that 20%, the government treats it as a withdrawal. She owes income tax on it, plus possible penalties. One wrong box checked, a 5-figure mistake. So the rule's simple, and it ain't negotiable. Always, always choose the direct rollover. Tell them, send it straight to the new account. Don't send the check to me. Say those words, and the trap disappears completely. The cash moves clean. No withholding, no 60-day clock, no risk. That one sentence protects your entire balance. There's one more choice inside the rollover. Your 401k is traditional, pre-tax money. You can roll it into a traditional IRA and keep that tax treatment. Or you can convert some of it to a Roth IRA, pay the tax now, and never pay tax on that cash again. That's powerful, but it's a bigger conversation, and timing matters. For now, just know the door's open. Valerie does a direct rollover into a traditional IRA, clean and simple, and keeps the Roth question for later. Her money's now in one place. Low fees, full control, nothing lost to a paperwork trap. Decision 2, done right. But moving the money's only half the job. Now it's got to actually pay her. It has to become a paycheck. And that's where most retirees have no real plan at all. They just pull cash out whenever they need it, hope it lasts, and quietly panic every time the market dips. That ain't a strategy. That's just a slow-motion worry. So, decision 3's the big one. How do you turn this pile of money into steady, lasting income without running out? Let's build that. Decision 3. Turning your 401k into a paycheck that lasts. This is the heart of the whole thing, because income's the entire point of all that saving. You've probably heard of the 4% rule. The old idea that you can withdraw about 4% of your savings in the first year, adjust for inflation, and likely never run out. For Valerie's $540,000, 4% is about $21,600 in the first year. Roughly $1,800 a month on top of her Social Security. The 4% rule's a decent starting point, but it ain't a law. And these days, a lot of experts argue it's too rigid, sometimes too high, sometimes too low. So let me give you something way more useful than a single rule. A way to organize the money so you ain't ever forced to sell at the wrong time. It's called the bucket strategy. Here's the idea. You split your cash into 3 buckets based on when you're gonna need it. And each bucket's got a different job. Bucket 1's cash. 1 to 2 years of spending money, sitting safe in savings. This is the bucket you actually live on. It don't move when the market moves. Bucket 2's bonds and stable, conservative investments. A few more years of income, growing gently, ready to refill Bucket 1 as you spend it down. Bucket 3's growth. Your stock investments, the long-term money you won't touch for years. This bucket's got time to ride out any downturn and keep growing. Do you see why this works? When the market drops, you don't panic sell your stocks. You just live out of your cash bucket and let the growth bucket recover. Time does the work. Valerie sets it up. 2 years of cash in Bucket 1. Several years of bonds in Bucket 2. The rest growing in Bucket 3. Now, a bad market year can't force a bad decision. That's the real secret of retirement income. It ain't picking the perfect withdrawal number. It's building a system where a scary market never makes you do something foolish. And there's an order to which money you spend, too. Generally, you spend from your taxable accounts first, let the tax-sheltered accounts keep growing, and save the Roth for last. We'll come back to that order, because it ties directly into the next 2 decisions. And they're all about the one force that can quietly eat your retirement alive. Taxes. Because here's the uncomfortable truth about that big traditional 401k. It ain't entirely yours. You've got a silent partner in it, and his name's the IRS. Every single dollar in that traditional account's never been taxed. Which means every dollar you eventually pull out gets taxed as ordinary income. And the government's got a way to make sure you do pull it out. That's decision 4. And it's the one Valerie almost walked right into. Let's talk about the tax time bomb. Decision 4. The required minimum distribution, or RMD. This is the rule the IRS uses to finally collect on all those years your 401k grew untaxed. Here's how it works. For most of your retirement, you choose when to take money out. But the government ain't gonna wait forever for its share. Starting at age 73, the law forces you to withdraw a minimum amount from your traditional 401k or IRA every single year, whether you need the money or not. That forced withdrawal's the RMD, and it's fully taxable as income. Miss it, or take too little, and the penalty's brutal. Now, here's why it's a time bomb. If you're a good saver, and that account grows large, your forced withdrawal at 73's gonna be huge. and it lands all at once as taxable income. A big RMD will push you into a higher tax bracket. It'll make more of your Social Security taxable. It'll even spike your Medicare premiums 2 years later through something called RMA. So the very thing you were praised for, saving aggressively in your 401k, can quietly set up a tax explosion in your 70s. That's the trap hiding in plain sight. Valerie is 64. Her RMDs haven't started yet, which means right now she's standing in a golden window that most folks waste completely. These years, after you retire but before RMDs begin, are the most valuable tax planning years of your life, and almost nobody uses them on purpose. Here's the move. In these lower income years, before RMDs hit, you can voluntarily convert some of your traditional money to a Roth and pay the tax on it now, at today's lower rate. Every dollar you move into the Roth is a dollar that'll never be forced out by an RMD and never taxed again. You're diffusing the bomb one piece at a time. Done over several years, this'll dramatically shrink your future RMDs, lower your lifetime tax bill, and protect your Social Security and Medicare from those nasty surprises. Now, a fair warning, because I always give you both sides. A conversion adds to your taxable income in the year you do it. Go too big, and you'll trigger the very problems you're trying to avoid. So this is the one decision you truly gotta run with a tax professional. The strategy's gold, but the size and timing of each conversion's where the real skill lives. But the principle's something you can hold on to today. The years right after you retire are a tax opportunity, not just a victory lap. Use them, or the IRS will use them on you. Valerie sits with that. She realizes those quiet early retirement years she was about to coast through are actually her best chance to save herself a fortune later. She's in. Which leaves one final decision. Not which accounts to use someday, but in what order to spend them, so you keep the most money in your own hands. Decision 5 ties everything together, and it's the difference between a tax bill that drains you and one you quietly control for the rest of your life. Here it is. Decision 5, the order you withdraw your money in. Most folks never think about this. They just pull from wherever's easy. And that single habit can cost them tens of thousands over retirement. 'Cause you don't have just one kind of money in retirement. You usually have 3, and each one's taxed completely differently. First, taxable accounts, regular savings and brokerage money. You've already paid tax on most of it, so spending it costs you very little in new taxes. Second, tax-deferred accounts. Your traditional 401k and IRA. Every dollar out's taxed as ordinary income. This is the IRS's share, waiting to be collected. Third, tax-free accounts. Your Roth. This money comes out completely tax-free, and it's the most precious money you own. You want to protect it the longest. So here's the general order the smartest retirees follow. Spend your taxable money first. Let the tax-deferred and Roth accounts keep growing untouched. Then tap the tax-deferred 401k and IRA money next, ideally in a controlled way that fills up your lower tax brackets without spilling into the high ones. And save your Roth for last, or for the big unexpected expenses. 'Cause every year it sits untouched, it's growing money that'll never be taxed again. This simple order, taxable, then tax-deferred, then Roth, can stretch your savings years longer than pulling randomly from whatever account's easiest that month. But notice how it all connects. Spending taxable money first keeps your reported income low in those early years, which creates room for the Roth conversions from Decision 4. It's all one machine. The rollover, the buckets, the conversions, the withdrawal order. Each decision makes the next one work better. That's what a real retirement plan actually is. Let me show you the difference it makes. 2 versions of Valerie. Same 540,000, same Social Security. The only difference is whether she has a plan. Valerie with no plan pulls from her 401k whenever she needs cash. Big taxable withdrawals, surprise tax bills, a giant RMD at 73, higher Medicare premiums. She bleeds money to taxes for decades. Valerie with a plan did a clean rollover, built her buckets, spent taxable money first, and quietly converted to Roth in the low years. Smaller RMDs, lower taxes, money that lasts. Same starting amount. Same market. The planned Valerie can end up with tens of thousands more and years more security, purely from the decisions we just walked through. That's the whole point I want you to feel. With a 401k, the saving was only half the game. What you do after you retire decides how much of it you actually keep. So let's bring it all home. 5 decisions, in order, that turn a scary pile of money into a retirement that works. 1. Don't leave your 401k on autopilot. Check the fees and the funds and keep it there only if it truly earns its place. 2. If you move it, use a direct rollover into an IRA. Never let them hand you the check. Say the words. Trustee to trustee. 3. Turn it into income with a bucket strategy, so a bad market can never force you into a bad decision. 4. Use the quiet years before 73 to defuse the RMD tax bomb with smart Roth conversions, ideally with a professional. 5. Spend your money in the right order. Taxable first. Tax-deferred next. Roth last. Keep the most money in your own hands. None of this requires you to be a financial genius. It requires you to be intentional, in a moment when most people just drift. That's your whole edge. 'Cause here's the truth I've watched play out for 30 years. The retirees who keep their money aren't the ones who earned the most. They're the ones who planned the exit. Your 401k got you to retirement. These 5 decisions are what carry you through it. The saving was the climb. This is how you come down the mountain safely. And you don't have to do it all today. You just have to start. Pull up that old 401k statement this week and look at it with new eyes. That's decision 1. Everything else follows. Valerie started exactly there, frozen and afraid, with no idea what to do. She ends with a clear plan, a paycheck that lasts, and a tax bill she controls instead of fears. That's not luck. That's not a special talent. That's just knowing the 5 decisions and choosing to make them on purpose. And now you know them too. So here's what I want you to do this week. Find your most recent 401k statement. Don't change anything yet. Just look at the balance, the fees, and the fund choices. That one small act of looking, instead of avoiding, is the moment everything changes. It's how Valerie started, and it's how you start. Then tell me in the comments, are you leaving your 401k, rolling it over, or already taking income from it? I read them, and I answer. Your question might even become the next video, 'cause the best lessons I teach come straight from what you're actually wrestling with. And if this gave you even a little more clarity and a little less fear about your own 401k, then do 2 quick things for me. Hit that like button, 'cause it genuinely helps another retiree find this and feel a little less lost about their own money. And if you haven't yet, subscribe. Every week I break down real retirement money like this. In plain English, no hype, no fear, just what actually works. That way, the next big money decision you face in retirement, you won't face it guessing. You'll already know what to do. 'Cause that's what this channel's really about. Not getting rich quick. Taking the money you worked your whole life for and making it last your whole life. Your 401k is the biggest financial tool you'll ever hold. You spent decades filling it. You owe it to yourself to spend a little time learning how to use it. 5 decisions. That's all that stands between a retirement that drifts and one that lasts. And you can start the very first one today with a single statement and an honest look. I'm Earl. This has been Earl's Money Talk, where we turn the money you worked for into the retirement you deserve. Go find that statement, look at it with clear eyes, and take that first quiet, powerful step this week. 'Cause the best time to make a plan for your 401k was the day you retired. And the second best time is right now. You spent your whole life earning this money. Now go learn how to keep it. Take good care of yourself. And take good care of that nest egg you worked so hard to build. You've got the 5 decisions. You've got the plan. And you've got everything you need to make this money last. I'll see you in the very next one. Until then, this is Earl, reminding you that it's never too late to make a smart move with your money.